Okay, let's unpack this. When you hear the name Elon Musk, what comes to mind? Visionary, eccentric, billionaire, innovator.
Mm-hmm.
He's undeniably all of that and, well, probably more. A figure who genuinely shapes our modern world.
Definitely shapes things.
So this deep dive is dedicated to peeling back the layers, really getting into Elon Musk's life and career. And we're drawing solely from the comprehensive biography you've provided.
Mm-hmm.
We want to understand the verifiable facts, the man behind the headlines, try to get beyond the hype and the controversy.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here is just observing how one individual, right, has managed to embed himself so deeply and broadly across so many critical industries and consistently sparking intense debate wherever he goes. It's quite something.
It really is.
So our mission today is to thoroughly explore his journey. We want to move beyond the public narrative, really grasp the defining moments that have shaped him. And we'll do this, maintaining an unbiased perspective. We're aiming to uncover those crucial aha moments in his story for you, shedding light on the genesis of his influence.
And the source material is pretty extensive, covering his formative years, education, those pioneering entrepreneurial ventures.
Right, and the personal challenges, too, which are significant, and the core philosophies that drive him.
Exactly. So prepare to gain a truly thorough and hopefully nuanced understanding of one of the most talked about figures of our time. We'll connect the dots on how he got so influential and, at times became such a lightning rod for controversy.
Let's do it.
So let's begin at the very start. I mean, every monumental journey has a humble origin, doesn't it? And for Elon Musk, that was in Pretoria, South Africa.
Right, South Africa. Born to Mae Musk, she was a model and dietitian, and Errol Musk, an engineer, property developer, successful guy.
And he grew up alongside his siblings, Kimball and Tosca. Now, his childhood environment, as detailed in his biography, it sounds like it was far from idyllic.
Yeah, that seems to be a consistent theme.
He experienced significant bullying. I mean, a deeply formative experience that, as you can well imagine, would profoundly shape anyone.
Absolutely. Bullying leaves scars, often drives people in unexpected ways.
Despite these very real challenges, or perhaps, precisely because of them, he developed this extraordinary love for books.
Ah, the escape into books.
Classic. He was frequently described as being lost in stories, just devouring encyclopedias, science fiction. A powerful early indicator of his burgeoning intellect and insatiable curiosity.
That tracks, that thirst for knowledge, especially finding it yourself through reading.
Right, cultivated through solitary reading. It's a consistent theme that, as we'll see, kind of underpins his entire life's trajectory, always searching for answers, for solutions.
And if you look at the broader context, these early experiences, particularly the intense bullying and that escape into books, it doesn't just lay the groundwork for later determination, does it?
No, it feels like more than that.
It arguably forged a very specific type of resilience, and maybe a deeply internalized belief that the world's problems, no matter how complex or, hostile, are ultimately solvable.
Through systematic thought and radical innovation, right? That's his playbook.
Exactly. It's a hallmark of his later, almost singular focus on what he sees as these grand existential challenges. It really compels us to consider, did this early sense of being an outsider, or maybe even a victim in a world that felt unwelcoming,
Did that push him?
Yeah, did it push him towards envisioning and building grander, almost utopian futures? Futures where he, through technology, could fundamentally redesign a world that once felt, unyielding or hostile.
That's a really interesting way to frame it. His intellectual hunger gave him this huge mental library.
Right, concepts, possibilities, letting him see connections and imagine solutions others might totally miss.
And it wasn't just abstract ideas he was grappling with, was it? He had a very early, very concrete experience with tech and entrepreneurship, a glimpse into his future.
You're talking about Blastar.
Exactly. At a remarkably young age, just 12 years old, he had his first direct experience with computer programming.
12. That's impressive.
And this wasn't just like dabbling with code. He meticulously developed a video game called Blastar. But the truly significant achievement here wasn't just making a functional game,
Which is impressive enough for a kid, yeah.
but actually selling it. He sold the code to a magazine for, what was it, $500?
$500. That's not bad for a 12-year-old in that era.
Right. This early success gave him a tangible taste of entrepreneurship, demonstrated this raw technical prowess, and an innate understanding of value creation. Foundational stuff.
Imagine being a kid building something from scratch that works, and then someone actually pays you for it.
That's going to be powerful affirmation, right?
Yeah.
A direct link between your ideas and real-world impact.
And maybe it set a precedent, too, for direct results-oriented approach, kind of bypassing traditional structures.
Makes sense. Okay, so this next phase, moving into higher education, this reveals something crucial about his trajectory. But even this path wasn't exactly conventional.
No, not straight A to B for him.
After his childhood in South Africa, he made that significant move to Canada. A big life change. New chapter.
Right, started at Queen's University in Ontario, an important stepping stone, I guess.
Yeah, prepared him for what was next. From Queens, he transferred to the University of Pennsylvania UPenn. A truly pivotal move.
And that's where he got his degrees. Multiple degrees, right?
Yep, successfully earned multiple degrees. His studies spanned economics and physics.
Economics and physics, that combination.
Mm,
It starts to make sense when you look at Tesla, SpaceX.
exactly. It suggests a foundational desire for understanding both the natural laws, the physics, and the practical principles of how societies and markets function, the economics.
A multidisciplinary background, a critical launchpad, allowing him to tackle complex problems from both sides, scientific and business.
But what's truly striking here, even with this robust traditional university education,
His path diverged.
quickly, very quickly.
Yeah, the deliberate pursuit of multiple, seemingly disparate disciplines. It's not just about collecting degrees, is it?
No, it feels more strategic than that.
It suggests a deep-seated desire for comprehensive understanding. A pattern we see, profoundly manifested in his incredibly diverse ventures later on.
He wasn't content to just specialize narrowly.
Not at all. He sought to grasp the underlying fundamental principles across different domains. That first principles thinking he talks about.
Right. This comprehensive approach uniquely positioned him to see connections, opportunities that might totally escape someone stuck in one field.
It shows an early pattern of intellectual restlessness, a relentless curiosity, a drive for foundational knowledge that just went beyond typical academic boundaries.
He learns not just for credentials, but for application.
Precisely.
That,
Which leads us to Stanford.
yes. Yeah. Arguably one of the most defining moments. Speaks volumes about his conviction, his bias toward action.
The decision to drop out of Stanford University after only 2 days.
Just absorb that. Stanford.
Right.
A PhD program in applied physics. 2 days. Gone.
It was an academic struggle, clearly.
No, it was a crystal clear vision for immediate entrepreneurial pursuit. He saw the burgeoning internet industry still in its infancy.
And felt like academia was too slow.
Exactly. It offered more immediate, fertile ground to build, innovate, make a tangible impact than a prolonged academic career. He saw this critical, fleeting window of opportunity.
And just jump through it, valuing real-world application over more theory.
Absolutely.
It really forces you to ask, though, what kind of extraordinary conviction, what self-assurance does it take to walk away from Stanford, a PhD program, after just 2 days?
It's immense confidence, isn't it?
Volumes about confidence in your own vision and an acute, almost prescient awareness of timing and emergent opportunity.
For him, it wasn't about the credential, the prestige.
No, it was fundamentally about the immediate application of knowledge. Building something impactful now, he sensed the real-world lab, the internet revolution, was calling.
And waiting for academic validation would be a missed opportunity.
A significant missed opportunity to directly impact that emerging digital landscape. It's a stark, early illustration of his bias towards immediate action. Tangible creation over prolonged theoretical contemplation.
So with that rather unconventional academic background, or, the deliberate curtailment of it, in Stanford's case, he plunged headfirst into the tech world.
Right into the deep end.
And his earliest companies were absolutely critical, not just for the initial capital, but crucially for the invaluable experience, equipping him to tackle the much larger challenges ahead.
Setting the stage.
His first significant venture was Zip2, co-founded in '95 with his brother, Kimball.
Zip2, that was the online city guide thing, right, for newspapers?
Exactly. Online city guide, maps, business directories for newspapers. This was back when the internet was still a novelty for most people.
Yeah, newspapers were just figuring out this whole online thing.
The vision behind Zip2 was incredibly forward-thinking for its time. An early, audacious move into internet-based information services, digitizing local info, making it interactive.
Kind of like a proto-Google Maps meets Yelp, but for newspaper websites.
That's a good way to put it. Helping businesses connect with customers online, giving them a digital presence. Groundbreaking stuff back then. Paved the way for how we interact with local info now.
And zooming out, Zip2 was a pioneering effort in that very, very nascent commercial internet space. People forget how clunky online info was in the mid-90s.
Totally fragmented.
This venture showed that clear early knack for identifying a fundamental need, organizing local info, connecting businesses and consumers digitally, and then building a scalable software solution.
The challenges must have been immense, though. Convincing traditional media? Building the infrastructure?
Oh, huge challenges. Selling a vision of the internet that was still emerging. But that early experience, software development, B2B sales in uncharted territory,
Oh,
indispensable foundation for later, grander projects.
taught him about market adoption, disrupting established industries? The hard way, probably.
No doubt.
And the outcome for Zip2? A resounding success, validated his instincts.
It sold for a good chunk, didn't it? To Compaq.
Yeah, acquired by Compaq in '99. Staggering $307 million in cash, plus stock options.
Wow.
For Musk personally, it meant a payout of around $22 million from his share.
22 million. That's serious seed money for whatever's next.
Absolutely. Not just a financial win, but a powerful affirmation of his entrepreneurial instincts.
Yeah.
Ability to identify, build, capitalize on emerging tech trends. That capital became the literal bedrock for his subsequent ventures.
The ones that really changed the world.
But he didn't rest on those laurels for a second, did he?
Doesn't seem like his style.
Nope. Quickly reinvested a significant portion of his Zip2 earnings into his next ambitious idea, X.com, in 1999.
X.com,
Yeah.
the precursor to PayPal.
Right. A direct-to-consumer online financial services company. Incredibly audacious forward thinking for that era.
Revolutionizing banking, moving it all online.
His bold vision was just that. Move traditional banking entirely onto the internet. A comprehensive suite, banking, investments, even insurance, all on one platform.
Pioneering effort in digital banking. Predating so much of what we take for granted now. And this eventually evolved through a crucial merger.
Into what we now know globally as PayPal.
What this period really signifies, I think, is that early, profound understanding of the internet's potential beyond static web pages.
He saw it as a dynamic platform for transactions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
X.com was incredibly ambitious, aiming to disintermediate traditional banking entirely, and that eventual merger of X.com with Confinity.
Confinity owned PayPal at the time.
Right. That merger was a masterstroke in digital payments. It showed that early knack for identifying and capitalizing on nascent internet opportunities.
Specifically.
That burgeoning need for secure, instant online transactions.
Which is a huge pain point for early e-commerce, right?
Massive. The very idea of seamless digital money transfers, initially for platforms like eBay, was revolutionary. PayPal was instrumental in enabling the growth of online marketplaces.
Also highlights his drive for complete financial integration, that vision leading to the PayPal structure. But despite the incredible trajectory and success PayPal was rapidly becoming, there's a really notable, kind of controversial event here.
Oh, the ousting.
He's actually ousted as CEO from PayPal in 2000. And it wasn't a smooth transition at all.
No, the story is the board did it while he was on his honeymoon.
That's right. Highlights intense internal dynamics, significant disagreements among the leadership about strategic direction.
What was the core disagreement?
Musk advocated for that broader financial platform, integrating more traditional banking into X.com. Others, like Peter Thiel and Max Levchin, preferred focusing purely on the payment system, what became PayPal, especially for eBay.
So a clash of visions.
A major clash, his removal from the top spot from a company he co-founded. A powerful, maybe even humiliating experience.
You have to assume that had a profound impact on his understanding of leadership, corporate control.
And likely fueled a fierce determination to ensure greater autonomy, singular vision in all his future ventures. Like never again.
Makes sense. Control becomes paramount.
But regardless of that internal strife, the ultimate sale of PayPal to eBay, that was colossal.
$1.5 billion in 2002. Huge number.
A monumental financial event for everyone involved.
Yeah.
And from this sale, Musk got substantial wealth, reportedly around $180 million after taxes. He was the largest shareholder.
Okay, so that's the real war chest. $180 million.
This wasn't just a sizable sum. This capital became the literal indispensable foundation for everything that followed. his subsequent, far larger, truly world-changing ventures.
Without PayPal, no SpaceX, no Tesla as we know it.
Exactly. Those ambitious projects, tackling humanity's biggest challenges, they simply wouldn't have been possible without that PayPal money and the validation it brought.
Right.
So this is a pivotal moment. What does this all mean for someone who just made a fortune most people can only dream of?
Most people would, yeah, relax, buy an island.
Right. Maybe become a passive investor.
Mm.
But for Elon, it was merely the beginning of his true mission. The question wasn't, what now? Or how do I enjoy this? It was,
What grand problem can be solved next? What existential threat can I address?
precisely. With that substantial capital from PayPal, he didn't just invest. He launched himself into projects many considered utterly impossible, aiming to fundamentally change humanity's future.
Addressing what he saw as the most critical existential threats.
He transitioned from building online financial systems to literally trying to build humanity's future, one industry at a time.
Which brings us to SpaceX.
First on that incredibly ambitious list, SpaceX. Founded by him in 2002, this wasn't just another company.
No, this was different gravy.
Born out of an audacious, almost science fiction-like goal. Revolutionize space tech, make space travel dramatically cheaper, and ultimately,
Enable humanity to become a multiplanetary species.
yeah. He envisioned this not just as exploration, but as a crucial safeguard against existential risks on Earth, ensuring humanity's long-term survival.
That deep philosophical conviction, connecting back to his early readings, seeing a future beyond Earth as necessary and achievable.
And SpaceX's innovations, especially reusable rockets like the Falcon 9, they fundamentally changed the game.
Absolutely. Dramatically lowered the cost of access to space. Challenged the traditional aerospace industry's decades-old ways.
And Starlink too, right? The satellite internet constellation. Another piece of that ambition, connecting and empowering humanity globally.
It all ties together in his view.
Next up, Tesla. Now, crucial clarification here.
Right, he didn't found Tesla.
Correct. It was established by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning in 2003. But his early investment in 2004 was pivotal. He quickly took a leadership role chairman, product architect.
And then CEO by 2008 became absolutely central to its mission.
His vision transformed Tesla from this small, struggling startup into a global leader, radically accelerating the adoption of EVs, pushing the entire auto industry towards sustainable energy.
His influence there is undeniable, driving the focus on cutting-edge batteries, building gigafactories, autonomous driving systems.
And that direct-to-consumer sales model that totally upended industry norms.
Tesla didn't just make electric cars, it made them desirable, high performance, a symbol of the future, forced everyone else to follow.
Then there's Solar City. Now this one was founded by him, along with his cousins Lyndon and Peter Rive in 2006.
Right, the solar panel company.
Its core purpose: comprehensive solar energy solutions, making renewable energy more accessible, affordable for homes and businesses.
A key piece in that broader vision of a fully sustainable future, complementing the EVs with clean energy generation.
Exactly. Solar City eventually became deeply connected to Tesla,
Tesla acquired it in 2016.
creating that unified sustainable energy and transport ecosystem. A vertically integrated sustainable energy company, as it's often called.
Okay, so looking at these three, SpaceX, Tesla, Solar City, what's truly remarkable is the clear, overarching thematic link, isn't it?
Space exploration and colonization, sustainable transport, renewable energy.
It's not scattershot. It's a deeply interconnected, almost singular strategy, addressing what he perceives as humanity's most pressing, long-term existential challenges.
He sees these problems not in isolation, but as parts of a bigger systemic failure, needing a multi-pronged revolutionary solution.
Which raises a critical question. How does one individual identify such disparate yet profoundly interconnected problems and commit his entire intellect, fortune, relentless drive to solving them on such a grand scale?
Effectively weaving these projects into a cohesive narrative for humanity's future.
It's a testament to a deeply integrated worldview where business is just an extension of a profound philosophy.
And he didn't stop there, of course. He also founded Neuralink in 2016.
Brain-machine interfaces, getting even more sci-fi.
The audacious aim: developed ultra-high bandwidth brain implants, a direct digital connection between the human brain and computers.
Initially to address severe neurological disorders, right? Paralysis, blindness.
Yes, but beyond medical uses, the long-term vision extends to enhancing human cognitive capabilities, blurring the lines between biological and digital intelligence.
Creating a symbiotic relationship with AI so humanity can keep pace. That's the big idea.
Then there's the Boring Company. another one he founded in 2016.
This one came from his frustration with LA traffic, famously.
Exactly. Focuses on revolutionizing tunneling tech, digging cost-effective, high-speed underground tunnels for transport systems.
To alleviate urban gridlock, maybe develop infrastructure for hyperloop systems.
Right, that high-speed train concept in vacuum tubes. It's about reimagining how cities function, how people move, making urban environments more efficient.
Less congested, a very practical problem, approached in a typically ambitious way.
He was also a co-founder of OpenAI back in 2015.
The AI Research Lab, originally nonprofit.
Right. Focused on ensuring artificial general intelligence, AGI, AI with human-level cognitive abilities, would benefit all of humanity.
Not be controlled by a single powerful entity. That was the original fear or goal.
His involvement there underscores his deep interest in the most profound tech advancements and their societal implications, recognizing both the promise and the risk of advanced AI.
Though he later stepped down from its board, citing conflicts with Tesla's AI work.
Yes, but his initial influence was significant, and most recently, the highly publicized acquisition of Twitter in 2022.
Which he then rebranded to X.
A colossal undertaking, acquiring one of the world's most influential social media platforms for $44 billion.
The stated motivation being creating a digital town square, upholding free speech principles globally.
The implications of owning and reshaping such a major public square are just vast, impacting global communication, information, journalism, even political discourse on a scale rarely seen.
Huge implications.
So when you look at this incredible list, it's not merely about building successful companies, is it?
No, it's systematically tackling what he fundamentally sees as existential threats or humanity-defining opportunities.
Which brings up that truly important question. What profoundly drives an individual to take on so many world-changing challenges, each one a life's work for most people?
Pushing himself and his organizations to their absolute limits constantly. What's the fuel?
Exactly. Let's talk about the money for a second. Everyone knows Elon Musk is incredibly wealthy, top of the rich lists often.
The number are astronomical.
But the true story behind that wealth, and its often wildly fluctuating nature, it's actually quite telling and often misunderstood.
Not just cash in the bank.
Not at all. His net worth, as reported by Forbes, Bloomberg, etc., primarily changes based on the dynamic value of his ownership stakes, especially Tesla stock.
Right. When Tesla stock goes up, his net worth rockets. When it dips, it plummets, sometimes billions in a day.
This phenomenon ties directly into that crucial financial concept, being asset-rich but cash-poor.
Explain that a bit more. What does it mean practically?
It means that while he controls vast amounts of value shares in Tesla, SpaceX, other ventures worth billions, he doesn't necessarily have immediate access to a massive pile of liquid cash.
His wealth is tied up in the company.
Precisely. To free up immediate cash for personal stuff, new investments, funding other ventures, he often has to sell shares.
Which can affect the market, dilute his ownership.
Or he uses his existing shares as collateral for loans, borrowing against them.
Which allows access to capital without selling equity, but carries risk if the stock value drops significantly.
Exactly. So, while headlines might declare him the richest person on a given day, it doesn't mean he can just write a check for anything without complex financial maneuvers or impacting his ownership or the market.
Right. It really makes you question the nature of modern wealth, especially for founders of these high-growth, publicly traded companies.
It's different.
What's truly illuminating here is that while the public often equates net worth with immediate liquidity, spending power, for figures like Musk, it's more fundamentally a reflection of market confidence in his future visions.
The perceived potential of his enterprises.
Exactly. So while he wields immense influence through control of vast assets, his access to immediate cash can be limited, necessitating borrowing against shares, leveraging future gains, or selling them.
Sending signals to the market, affecting perception.
It's a highly dynamic, often volatile form of wealth, directly tied to the performance innovation, public perception of his often ambitious, speculative enterprises. His financial standing is like a constant, real-time barometer of his company's perceived success.
So what insights can we draw from this for you, the listener, when you see headlines about his fluctuating net worth?
It means understanding the crucial nuances, how wealth is held, utilized at this level.
It's a complex interplay, market valuation, strategic ownership, sophisticated financial maneuvers, far removed from just having a gigantic bank balance.
It reveals that even at the pinnacle of global wealth, there are distinct structures, strategic considerations, inherent limitations. Wealth at this scale is maybe more about control and future potential than immediate limitless cash.
Okay. Now, no figure wielding such influence, driving such radical change, can exist without drawing significant scrutiny. And Elon Musk has certainly had his share, often more than his share.
That's putting it mildly.
This next segment reveals something truly interesting, sometimes quite challenging, about his public persona. How his actions have frequently put him right in the crosshairs of criticism. That complex, often turbulent interplay between innovation and public perception.
Where do we start? Twitter, perhaps?
Let's start with his Twitter behavior, especially after acquiring the platform, rebranding it to X. His conduct became a constant, often unprecedented source of controversy.
His personal engagement, late nights, provocative memes, inflammatory statements.
Engaging directly with followers and critics in ways that just diverged dramatically from typical CEO norms.
Unvarnished, often impulsive, highly public communication style frequently sparked outrage, generated nonstop news cycles.
And had tangible impacts, right? Market perception, employee morale, even geopolitical discussions.
Blurred the lines between personal opinion and corporate statement, created this unique, often turbulent public narrative around him and the platform.
Then there are the well-documented SEC issues.
Ah, yes, the Securities and Exchange Commission, not always his biggest fans.
Over the years, multiple challenges with the SEC, the main financial regulator protecting investors. These issues typically stem from his public statements, often on social media,
About Tesla stock, production targets, potential corporate actions.
leading to accusations of misleading investors or market manipulation, like the famous funding-secured tweet in 2018 about taking Tesla private.
That cost him big fines, had to step down as Tesla chairman for a while.
Exactly. These interventions highlight that constant tense dynamic between a high-profile CEO's personal communication freedom and the strict regulatory environment governing public companies, especially when market-moving info is involved.
You can't just tweet anything when you run a public company.
Apparently not. He's also faced a considerable number of lawsuits,
Seems like it. Defamation suits.
often from his online comments and accusations, like the unverified claim against that Thai cave rescue.
Right, that was a big one.
Plus legal challenges related to business practices, acquisitions, shareholder disputes. The sheer number and diversity of legal battles underscore the contentious nature of his dealings.
And his willingness to challenge norms, maybe.
Yeah.
And just his high-profile status makes him a target. Litigation seems like a recurring feature of his career.
Yeah.
Looking at the broader context here, the sheer scale of his ambitions, coupled with the unprecedented velocity and directness of his public statements, it very often puts him squarely at odds with regulators, established corporate norms, even libel laws.
It forces a conversation, doesn't it?
A critical question emerges about the tension between rapid, disruptive innovation, which often requires breaking convention, and established governance structures designed for stability and investor protection.
His approach frequently tests the boundaries of what's permissible or even advisable for a public company's CEO.
Creating this constant global dialogue around corporate responsibility, limits of executive communication in the digital age, transparency versus bold, unfiltered pronouncements.
And it's not just regulators he clashes with. Very public feuds with other billionaires and prominent figures.
Oh yeah, often playing out vividly on social media. Tech leaders like Zuckerberg, Bezos, major investors, politicians.
These rivalries and public spats add another complex layer, portraying him as combative, unafraid to challenge anyone he perceives stands in his way or disagrees, sometimes escalating into personal attacks.
Doesn't shy away from a fight.
There have also been numerous documented employee treatment criticisms.
This comes up a lot. Reports and accounts consistently raise concerns about treatment of employees across his companies.
Criticisms often center on allegations of an incredibly demanding work environment, expectations of extraordinarily long hours.
That high pressure, no excuses culture. Sometimes a perceived lack of empathy for employee well-being in the relentless pursuit of ambitious goals.
These accounts frequently lead to questions about the human cost of his drive for innovation. Are such extreme demands sustainable, ethical?
A tough balance if it is a balance.
Finally, we've seen several major public backlash moments where his actions or statements led to widespread negative public reaction.
Controversial comments on global events, responses to critics deemed inappropriate, perceived insensitivity.
These moments underscore the deeply polarizing nature of his public figure, his unique capacity to ignite significant public debate, for better or worse, around his actions and words.
He definitely knows how to get attention.
So what insights can we glean when we consider this figure? Hailed as a genius, innovator, yet consistently criticized for conduct, communication, leadership.
It truly presents a complex, often contradictory picture, reveals the immense challenges, responsibilities, maybe the lonely road that come with wielding such vast influence, where every action is amplified and scrutinized.
It's a lot. Now, beyond the boardrooms, factories, launch pads, there's the personal story.
And with Musk, even his personal life captures headlines, often reflecting the same intensity and unconventional approach as his professional life.
It's a fascinating glimpse behind the curtain. He's had several notable marriages and relationships widely reported.
Adds another layer to that complex public persona. Married multiple times. Justine Wilson, Tallulah Riley twice.
And highly publicized relationships with other prominent figures, like musician Grimes.
These relationships, like the rest of his life, often lived under intense public gaze, contributing to that narrative of someone constantly defying conventional norms, even in intimate spheres.
He's also a father to numerous children, and their lives, especially their unique names, draw significant public attention.
Right. XAA12 later changed slightly. That sparked widespread discussion, fascination, became a global talking point.
Highlights how even the most intensely personal aspects of his life become subjects of global conversation and scrutiny, reflecting his tendency to challenge norms everywhere.
Even in naming his kids.
Furthermore, his family dynamics include that publicly strained, often difficult relationship with his father, Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's made several public statements about that, describing it as complex, challenging, deeply troubled at times.
And while we, of course, stay impartial on personal family matters, the documented public statements reveal a significant source of personal tension, potential influence, maybe subtly shaping his own approach to fatherhood, leadership, his relentless drive.
It offers a rare glimpse into the deeper personal struggles even highly successful individuals navigate. Adds a human dimension to the larger-than-life persona.
Yeah, it does.
And what's genuinely fascinating here is how closely his deeply held personal views, his philosophical concerns, like his profound anxieties about global population decline, align and even merge with his larger, almost existential business ventures.
It's not separate.
Looking at the broader context, it strongly suggests a profound, almost singular worldview, where his most intimate personal beliefs actively inform and energize his entrepreneurial missions. His personal life isn't just a separate sphere, it's intricately woven into his grand narrative of shaping humanity's future.
Demonstrates a remarkable, often startling consistency between his private convictions about civilization's fate and his public actions to build companies addressing those perceived futures. Space colonization, sustainable energy.
It all connects back.
He holds extremely strong philosophical stances on population, particularly expressing significant repeated concerns about declining birth rates globally.
Views it as a potential existential threat to humanity. Argues passionately that a declining population could lead to a civilization in crisis, unable to innovate or sustain itself.
And this perspective isn't just personal opinion. It directly informs many of his actions, public statements, even aspects of his business ventures, often linking back explicitly to his broader goals for humanity's long-term survival, growth, expansion across the solar system.
He truly believes a flourishing future requires a growing human population, and his personal choices often reflect that conviction.
So what does this alignment truly mean when a public figure's personal life becomes so deeply intertwined with their grand world-altering visions?
It unequivocally shows a deep, almost inseparable alignment between personal convictions and professional pursuits, illustrating how his private beliefs about humanity's future aren't just abstract thoughts.
They're powerful, deeply ingrained drivers behind his most public-facing ventures, ambitions, even his personal choices. A life lived with a singular overriding purpose. Okay, let's unpack this further. Beyond the boardrooms, the public controversies, there are these incredibly compelling stories behind the headlines. Moments of extreme challenge, hardship, that truly reveal the extraordinary grit, resilience, sheer determination we see today.
These aren't just anecdotes. They offer a deeper, more human, visceral insight, showcasing the crucible where his character was forged.
One story that speaks volumes about his early character and resourcefulness is that tell-a-day survival story.
Yes, I remember reading about that.
In his youth, he deliberately embarked on this personal experiment, trying to live on just $1 a day, buying food in bulk hot dogs, oranges stretching his meager allowance, living at subsistence level.
And it wasn't purely out of necessity, right? More like a self-imposed challenge.
Largely, yeah. And exercise in understanding economic constraints, pushing personal limits. What this reveals is extraordinary resilience, remarkable discipline, and a deep, practical first principles understanding of resource management. Efficiency.
An early, intense exercise in problem solving under extreme constraints, a trait that undoubtedly helped later with lean startups.
Definitely.
And this anecdote, it goes beyond mere survival. It illuminates an almost scientific approach to personal limits and resource allocation, a willingness to self-impose hardship to understand fundamental truths. That's rare.
Very.
Looking at the broader context, this experience likely instilled a profound appreciation for efficiency, a contempt for waste, informing his later business philosophies, scrutinizing every dollar, every resource for maximum impact.
Suggests someone not afraid to test hypotheses, even on his own well-being, to gain deeper understanding.
Right. A critical question emerges. How much of his later ability to wring every ounce of potential out of his companies, often under immense pressure, stems from these early, self-imposed lessons in extreme efficiency?
It's a fascinating thought. Absolutely speaks to an incredible inner drive. Another powerful near-death experience that likely left an indelible mark. His severe bout with malaria.
Oh, wow. During a trip to South Africa?
Yeah. Contracted a rare, extremely virulent form, initially misdiagnosed as flu back in the U.S., leading to a critical delay in proper treatment.
That's terrifying.
He became gravely ill, high fever, intense pain, delirium. Later described it as the closest he'd ever come to death.
Surviving something like that, it changes you.
Undoubtedly. Profound impact on his perspective on life, risk-taking, maybe even his later interest in health tech like Neuralink.
Could be. Staring mortality in the face can profoundly shift priorities, sharpen purpose, amplify an existing drive to make every moment count, especially for world-changing goals.
His legendary, almost superhuman work ethic, vividly exemplified by his practice of sleeping on the Tesla factory floor.
During the Model 3 production hell, that became famous.
Documented times he would literally sleep at the factory, couch, floor, trying to personally oversee, troubleshoot, resolve manufacturing issues around the clock.
Not a PR stunt, but a hands-on, desperate leadership style during incredibly challenging times.
Served as a powerful, albeit extreme, signal to employees of his absolute unwavering commitment, saving the company no matter the personal cost or comfort sacrificed.
Illustrates unparalleled dedication, willingness to lead by example, even pushing himself to the brink of exhaustion.
And finally, a less known but incredibly impactful aspect, the repeated near-bankruptcy stories.
It wasn't just once.
Not at all. His companies, and him personally, faced catastrophic financial ruin multiple times. SpaceX nearly failed several times early on launch failures, nearly running out of money before that crucial fourth launch in 2008.
The one that had to succeed to get the NASA contract?
Exactly. Tesla, too, came perilously close to collapse. Early production struggles, the 2008 financial crisis, again during the Model 3 ramp-up in 2017-18.
Moments of intense existential financial pressure, everything hanging by a thread.
He poured every last dollar from PayPal, even borrowed from friends to keep these ventures alive, illustrating an almost irrational, but ultimately successful, commitment.
Wow. If we look at the broader context, these aren't just compelling anecdotes of hardship, they are defining crucible moments. They illustrate an incredibly high, almost unprecedented tolerance for risk and an unwavering, borderline obsessive commitment to his goals, even facing financial ruin.
Forges a different kind of leader.
One who has stared directly into the abyss of failure, felt its icy grip, yet chosen to push through, often by sheer force of will and unshakable belief in the mission.
Raises that question. What separates those who collapse under such pressure from those who push through, against all odds, to redefine industries?
Often comes down to an almost irrational but incredibly powerful belief in the mission, unparalleled ability to persevere, an uncanny knack for learning and adapting from every setback.
You're absolutely right. These aren't just interesting facts for you, the listener. They paint an incredibly vivid picture of extraordinary perseverance against overwhelming odds.
Gives you a deeper, more nuanced understanding of the tenacious person behind the grand ventures. Reveals a level of tenacity, resilience, sheer force of will that is truly rare.
So this brings us to a crucial point in our deep dive. What does all of this mean? All these myriad experiences, challenges, successes, failures, personal trials, they all coalesce into a very distinct motivation. A powerful, deeply ingrained philosophy underpinning everything he does.
A comprehensive worldview explaining why he tackles such monumental, seemingly impossible challenges, pushes boundaries without end.
At the very core is that intense, almost legendary work ethic,
80, 100 hours a week, sometimes more. Famous for it.
and openly expects similar dedication, urgency, intensity from his teams. This isn't just about being busy.
No, it's intrinsically tied to his fervent belief in achieving those monumental goals he sees as critical for humanity's long-term future.
He perceives the sheer scale and gravity of the problems as requiring an unprecedented, all-consuming level of effort, innovation, commitment.
For him, the work isn't a job or career. It's a profound existential mission demanding every ounce of his energy, intellect, focus.
Another absolutely defining aspect. His deep-seated, almost urgent conviction that humanity must become a multiplanetary species.
Not a casual interest, but an urgent existential belief driving much of his decision-making.
He frequently, passionately argues that for humanity's long-term survival, to thrive, avoid extinction from a single catastrophe on Earth, we simply cannot remain confined to one planet.
This profound conviction directly, explicitly relevant to founding SpaceX, created with the overarching goal of making humanity multiplanetary, Mars as the initial target.
It's a vision that fundamentally drives SpaceX's engineering, finances, long-term strategy, far beyond commercial satellite launches.
Absolutely. And this immense ambition is inextricably coupled with an extremely risk-taking mindset.
His approach to risk: extreme, audacious, often highly contrarian.
Demonstrably willing to invest vast sums of personal capital, push companies to the brink, pursue projects with incredibly low odds of success.
If he profoundly believes the potential rewards, especially for humanity, far outweigh the chances of failure, doesn't shy away from what others call foolhardy if the potential impact is revolutionary.
Consistently put his entire fortune, reputation, personal well-being on the line. Unparalleled tolerance for personal and financial exposure.
Yeah.
And what's truly compelling here is that his renowned risk-taking isn't simply reckless impulsivity. It appears fundamentally tied to his profound perception of existential threats to humanity.
He believes risks of inaction are far greater.
Exactly. Remaining on one planet, relying on fossil fuels, letting AI develop unchecked. Those risks are more catastrophic long-term than the risks of aggressive, unconventional innovation to counteract them.
Which begs that critical question.
How do we, as a society, balance such an audacious, high-stakes approach to risk with the practical realities, ethical considerations, immense responsibilities of leading global companies impacting millions?
Forces us to consider the profound implications of pursuing grand, civilization-altering visions at such incredibly high stakes. And he genuinely lives by the idea that failure isn't an endpoint, but simply another essential step towards success.
Integrated this into several famous quotes about failure and perseverance that are almost legendary now.
Like, failure's an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough.
Or, when something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor.
These aren't just motivational sound bites. They profoundly exemplify his core mindset, his practical, iterative approach to overcoming obstacles.
Setbacks aren't demoralizing defeats, but essential data points in the relentless process of innovation and progress.
Reflects a deep-seated, almost unshakable belief that true transformative progress often demands traversing a path littered with what others readily call failures.
Yeah, it's quite a philosophy to live by.
So, we've now taken a truly deep dive into the extraordinary life of Elon Musk, traced his remarkable journey from that bullied, book-loving kid in South Africa coding blaster
To a multi-industry titan launching literal blast-off rockets into space. Quite the arc.
We explored his early entrepreneurial successes, Zip2, PayPal laying the financial and experiential groundwork, leading to those grand industry-shaping ventures, SpaceX, Tesla, SolarCity, Neuralink, Boring Company.
And his pivotal role in OpenAI's beginnings, the acquisition of X.
We saw how his immense wealth is tied to market confidence, fluctuating stock values, navigated the complexities of his public controversies, glimpsed into his intensely scrutinized personal life, family dynamics,
And uncovered some of those lesser-known yet incredibly defining moments of resilience and near catastrophe.
Yeah.
Looking at the broader context, Musk's story isn't simply about individual entrepreneurial success. It serves a powerful, compelling case study, how a singular, unwavering, often contrarian vision
Combined with that extraordinary, almost superhuman work ethic and unparalleled tolerance for risk.
can profoundly disrupt multiple established industries simultaneously. He consistently propels humanity towards what he envisions as new, often challenging, frontiers.
regardless of how one personally feels about him or his methods.
His undeniable impact on technology, space exploration, future of energy, our collective imagination for what's possible, it's both undeniable and profound.
He embodies this unique confluence: cutting-edge technical acumen, relentless entrepreneurial drive, and a deeply held philosophical conviction, leaving an indelible, complex mark on the 21st century and beyond.
Truly does.
This journey through his life raises an important question for you, the listener. Considering his relentless pursuit of what he fundamentally sees as necessary for humanity's future, and his profound willingness to face spectacular failure and relentless controversy head-on.
What does this tell us about the true nature of transformative innovation and the kind of often personal, all-consuming sacrifice it frequently demands from those who lead it?
Something to think about.
And to expand that thought, consider the long-term, far-reaching implications of his multiplanetary life philosophy. If such a future were to manifest, what new and complex challenges, as well as unprecedented opportunities, would this vision present for humanity's collective destiny?
And what role do individuals like Musk, with all their unique complexities, contradictions, profound drive, ultimately play in shaping that destiny, often by forcing us all to confront the seemingly impossible?
Big questions.
We truly hope this deep dive has given you a clearer, more nuanced, and ultimately more comprehensive perspective on one of the most significant and undeniably impactful figures of our time.